Little Cayman, your station, your voice. All things Cayman, one radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 22nd day of November 2019. I hope and trust that everyone had an enjoyable, restful, peaceful evening. Nice and cool. That Christmas weather, as we would speak about it, is coming along. It helps to keep us nice and cool, that Christmas weather, Christmas breeze as well. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Always remember, the life you save may simply be your own, because it seems as if not a day passes now where there isn't a vehicular accident on the roads of the Cayman Islands. So again, we urge you, if you're a pedestrian, if you're a cyclist, if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands, please be extremely cautious. I want to extend my thanks to Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and Ms. Donna Bush for hosting in my absence on Monday and Wednesday of this week. I also want to thank Dr. Steve McField, Ms. Theresa Pitcairn for being guests on the show. Also, I want to thank everyone. It's always good to be back home. No matter how bored you may get in the Cayman Islands at times, when you leave, there's always that urge to return home. And some observations, I was thinking about it this morning, and we have our airport greeters at the Owen Roberts International Airport here. And I was flying out of Tampa yesterday, and two things that I noticed, one in particular that stood out. The staff at the counter at Cayman Airways, certainly very pleasant and seemed quite capable, but their command of the English language left much to be desired. Even more so, that became even more evident when you're at the gate and announcements are being made. And I say that to say that the same way that we have our tourism ambassadors or greeters at the airport here, maybe we can look about doing something similar in Tampa, maybe in at Miami International Airport as well. I'm sure that there are Caymanians resident over there who are retired who would do an excellent job. It really feels great when you have someone greeting you, someone welcoming you, when you get on those lines and you're talking to people who are either visitors to the Cayman Islands or who are new residents to the Cayman Islands as well. It's a great feeling, and if we want to have that Cayman kind, that Cayman feeling, maybe the powers that be may want to consider having those greeters there at Tampa and Miami International Airport and ensure that they're Caymanians as well. And let's look at the staff and at the counter there. Like I said, they're quite capable, very pleasant. I have an issue in terms of those announcements that are being made, and you don't hear that Caymanian voice, or you don't hear a voice that is quite proficient in English. Later on, when another announcer came on, that female person was quite proficient, but prior to that, it left much to be desired. And maybe it's just me being grumpy. You know, you're getting in your late 60s now, you're being grumpy and being picky, as those old people would say. Maybe it's just me, but food for thought. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the very busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During those hours, our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. This morning, again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number, provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. And of course, if you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at For the Record. That is one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where you can leave us a text message or send us a voice note. And if you send us a voice note, the contents of that voice note will be played during the course of the show as well. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Today, we had the opposition, members of the opposition scheduled to come in, but the Finance Committee of our Legislative Assembly, soon to be renamed Parliament, that Finance Committee is in session, and this morning they're scheduled to start at 9:30. So unfortunately, we won't have any guests from the opposition. I tried at the 13th hour to contact my usual fill-ins, but unable to, simply because such short notice that I had to do that. So there will be no guest in the studio this morning. Our phone lines will be open, and I will have lots of information to share with you during the course of the show this morning. And you know me, I love my Trade Winds newspaper and what they contain. For instance, on the 3rd of November, 1966, do you know that in 1966, the Legislative Assembly of the Cayman Islands considered, or were looking at, the issue of the imposition of an income tax in the Cayman Islands, and that was vetoed by the House, the Legislative Assembly, in November. And this is a report that was done by Miss Rosedine Jackson, who was a reporter for the then Tradewinds newspaper. And I will remind you, I may sound as if I'm repeating myself, but I will remind you that the Tradewinds newspaper was started by Mr. Billy Borden, financed by a Canadian lawyer who was residing in the Cayman Islands, Mr. James MacDonald, and also supported by Mr. Arthur Borden, the same man that owned Mr. Arthur's store, or the 7-Eleven store, and Miss Rosedine Jackson, amongst others, persons like Mrs. Ardith Smith, Mr. Roland Gerzung, who worked there, my sister, Annis Connor, now Annis Smith, she worked there as well. Full all Caymanian staff except for maybe some printers and some photographers. But they were all local reporters. And this article then was written by Miss Rosedine Jackson, and she pointed out that the Legislative Assembly, in a stormy but successful 2-day session, passed the majority of proposed laws, but set aside a portion of a bill which would have imposed personal tax based on a person's capability to earn. Very interesting. It would be a personal tax, and it would be based on your capability to earn, not on your earnings, but what you were capable of earning. That seems to be quite draconian to me. Let's see what else was said about that. It says, protested loudly by some members of the House, a subsection of the law entitled A Law to Amend the Tax Collection and Internal Revenue Law was deleted because the House voted by a margin of 11-6 not to accept the principle of paying personal tax on a capability to earn basis. Now, let's look at those numbers, 10-6. I haven't read the full article to see who voted for and against, but I would venture a guess to say that the 6 who voted for it would have been members of the government side, who would have been the proposals of the bill in the first place. But we will wait and see if that is included in there. But the main point that I'm trying to get across was that income tax was considered in the Cayman Islands. It was considered on the basis of your capability to earn. In November of 1966, as reported in the Tradewinds newspaper on the 3rd of November 1966 by Miss Rosedine Jackson, that portion of the bill was set aside. Now, we did have tax in the Cayman Islands. We had the what was called a head tax, that individual males, only males, men paid a head tax, and you had to pay that head tax, especially if you were delinquent. When you got your call to go to sea, to go with Southwell National Bulk Carriers, if that head tax wasn't paid, you weren't going anywhere. We are going somewhere now because we have to take a commercial break. When we return, I will continue to share the story with you. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Rael Brazeley Bodden, Sr., MBE, JP, was born in 1885 and died at age 91 in 1976. He was best known as a shipwright who used his marine architectural skills to construct prominent historical landmarks on Grand Cayman. In so doing, Mr. Bodden carried on the tradition of his father and grandfather. In 1971, Captain Rael was recognized of his development contributions by being asked to lay the cornerstone for the Legislative Assembly building. Captain Rael built many ships, including the well-known Simboko, the Lady Slater, launched in 1934 as sister ship of the Simboko, old-time schooners, and 2 minesweepers for the Royal British Navy. The Simboko was constructed in 1927 and was the first locally built motorized ship in Cayman. For 20 years, she was Cayman's connection to the world, carrying freight, passengers, and mail between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, Jamaica and the United States. Captain Rael held the office of Admeasure of Shipping for over 45 years. He was appointed a Justice of the Peace in 1928 and served in the Assembly of Justices and Vestry. Captain Rael was married to Miss Hetty, née Bodden, for 63 years. Together, they raised 5 children and were the proud grandparents of 22 grandchildren, many great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. He received his MBE in 1941, Her Majesty the Queen's Badge in 1954. In 2008, the Central Planning Authority celebrated the contributions of Captain Rael Bodden for his outstanding contributions to planning.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner, think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
I'm starting my shopping early this year. What you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You, yes, you can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
Back by popular demand for November only. It's your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Vamp is making it easier than ever for you to drive home a real deal, where you can choose how much you'll save on your new vehicle and whether you want to get cash back or add-on upgrades to it. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $5,000 off select vehicles during our November sale. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Fortuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. It's your sale, your choice, but only during November. So come by Vamp Motors on Walker's Road, where your new SUV or truck is waiting for you to drive home.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center. Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center is your one-stop shop for all of your sewing and alterations, fabrics, household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations. Call Super Stitch at 949-2833 or email customercare@superstitch.com.ky. Super Stitch, located 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road, still offering the best prices in town.
Do you still have questions about the cruise berthing facility? Would you like more information? Come and hear officials from government and Verdant Isle Port partners speak about the project and have your questions answered. Public meetings are happening across Grand Cayman until December 5th. Visit supportourtourism.com for all meeting dates. Be informed because truth matters.
Support our tourism.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have no guests in the studio, so I thought it would be quite appropriate to share with you some of the Trade Winds reports of the Legislative Assembly meeting to consider their budget, bearing in mind the fact that our Legislative Assembly, soon to be renamed Parliament, I believe, that the Finance Committee is now meeting there. We have a budget being proposed. I think they're going over the line items now in the Finance Committee. A budget that is approximately $2 billion US dollar budget. Looking at some of our sister overseas territories, for instance, the British Virgin Islands that are considering their budget now. Their budget is somewhere in the region of about $414 million. And looking at the Cayman Islands, close to $2 billion US dollars. I do remember the days when our budget was at around about 400 and something million as well, but we're seeing more progress, if you want to call it that. To some people would not consider it progress, but we're seeing more happening in the Cayman Islands, more expansion, and we see a budget that's being proposed that, while increasing, does not increase any taxes on individuals in the Cayman Islands. If anything, what is being proposed is actually allowing more in terms of elderly persons, in terms of what retired persons who still need government assistance are getting as well. So that could be a good thing. We have a caller. That will be a good thing. Sorry. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, Elsie.
Good morning. How are you?
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
The people that were filling in did a good job in your absence.
They certainly did, and I listened while I was away too.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good to have you.
Thank you.
Just community announcement this morning.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, the Bosun Bay Presbyterian Church is having their 89th anniversary this weekend. And tomorrow morning, that is Saturday, at 6:15, if people want to meet at the church, and Rudy's tour bus will transport us over to the Centennial Towers. That is right next to the John Gray Memorial Church, where we will start to walk at 6:30 back to the Boson Bay Presbyterian Church and have breakfast. Then on Sunday at 11 a.m., Radio Cayman will be broadcasting live. So for those people who are shut in or can't get out, they can listen to our service that day on Sunday. At 11 a.m., we will have our 89th anniversary Founders Day celebration.
Okay,
lunch to follow.
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot, but who do you know who was the first pastor for that church?
Mr. Samuel Osbert Ebanks, better known to us as Mr. Birdie. And the church started on the 3rd of November, 1930.
Wow, that's excellent.
And he started the church.
Well, I want to congratulate your church, the members of your church, for such a long Christian tradition that you have there as well.
Yep. Thank you very much. And I hope for everyone a blessed weekend. And may God bless the Cayman Islands.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. So I was sharing with you, and I don't have a whole lot of time before we reach the 8 o'clock hour for 8 o'clock news, an article in the Tradewinds newspaper about the Legislative Assembly vetoing a provision in a bill to amend a law to impose income tax on individuals in the Cayman Islands based on their capability to earn. And very quickly I can share with you, because I did question whether or not it was defeated by a vote of 10 noes to 6 yeas. And those persons who voted against it, we had Mr. Burns Ruddy, Mr. Richard Arch, Mr. Anton Borden, Mr. Burke LaBush, C. Ebanks, not sure who, S. A. Ebanks, Mr. Arthur, I believe that would have been, T. W. Farrington, Mr. Claude Hill, Captain Eldon Colonel, and Keith Parker Tibbetts. And those voting for the motion were Mr. Benson Ebanks, Mr. Warren Conley, Mr. Vassal Johnson, Justice Horsfall, Mr. Desmond Watler, and Mr. E. U. McNamee. So as I guessed, my guess was that the government would have voted for it, and the others who were against it would have been non-government officials, and that is the case. Folks, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Price Right is 8 o'clock.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Cayman's premier acknowledges that there will be an impact to the environment from the cruise pier and cargo port project in Georgetown Harbor.
There is going to be some environmental sacrifice to build them, but once they're built, we do away with anchoring.
At the public information session at the Elmsley Memorial Church Hall across the street from the current port facility, the Honorable Alda McLaughlin said the short-time sacrifice will pay off in multiple ways.
What is there now will have an opportunity to recover, in addition to the efforts that are going to be made by Dr. Vaughn and others to give some of them rebirth.
Dr. Vaughn has been hired by the preferred bidders to work on a coral relocation and regrowth project, which came under fire from Central Caribbean Marine Institute's Dr. Carrie Manfrino as unrealistic. The premier, however, disagrees.
And in 30, 40 years' time, we won't be having this kind of conversation about how much damage has been done out there by anchoring.
Mr. McLaughlin speaking at Thursday night's meeting in Georgetown on the Cruise Pier and Cargo Enhancement Project. A People's-initiated referendum on the issue has been scheduled for December 19th. The administrative assistant for the Office of the Deputy Governor, Leanie Tatum, is the portfolio of the Civil Service's Chief Officer's Choice Award for September. More from Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego.
Ms. Tatum receives the award for delivering an outstanding customer service, even when facing an increasing demand for services. Over the last several months, the Office of the Deputy Governor received effectively double the amount of applications for persons wishing to be naturalized as British Overseas Territories citizens. Now, to resolve some 400 applications, Ms. Tatum provided diligent support throughout the process. From receiving the hundreds of applications to the vetting and verification processes, and then to hosting the necessary pledge ceremonies. To accommodate customers in a timely manner, it was Ms. Tatum who organized and delivered additional ceremonies outside of normal business hours. Nominator Jody Whitaker, administrative manager, noted the customer is at the heart of everything she does, and this is evident in her daily interactions. Ms. Tatum said she felt honored and privileged to have been selected, and thanks her team members as well. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Charities are urging the UK's government to bring home more British children caught up in the war in Syria, after it was announced that some were being repatriated. They're the first to be returned to Britain from an area formerly controlled by the Islamic State group. Separately, a court in the Netherlands is hearing an appeal against a ruling that the Dutch government must repatriate nearly 60 children from Syria. Mauritius has described the UK as an illegal colonial occupier after it ignored a deadline to relinquish control of the Chagos Islands. In May, the UN General Assembly voted overwhelmingly on a 6-month time limit to hand the archipelago to Mauritius. Many people in India have expressed concern that a popular cafe chain, Chayos, has been using facial recognition software to bill customers. A video appearing to show the practice has been shared online. The firm said it was committed to protecting customers. The President of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, has called on the governments of the Eurozone to do more to support economic growth. Ms. Lagarde said public investment was an important part of tackling global challenges. Sri Lanka's leader, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, has named his new cabinet, which includes 2 of his brothers. His elder brother, Chamal, is now Minister for Agriculture and Internal Trade. Another sibling, Mahinda, is Prime Minister. China's stock markets have hit their lowest level in almost 3 months, following concerns about deteriorating relations between Beijing and Washington. Earlier, the Chinese President, Xi Jinping, said his government still wanted a trade agreement with the US. There's been criticism in Zimbabwe of a government decision to rename dozens of streets, many of them after President Emerson Mnangagwa. Some have described it as vanity. And that's the latest BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years, Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating.
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 76%. Barometric pressure 29.96 inches and rising. The wind is east-northeast at 9 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate to fresh northeasterly winds and rough seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. As a high-pressure system moves over the western Atlantic Ocean. Radar images show showers in and around the Cayman area moving southwest. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Sebastian. At last check, Sebastian was located near 24.8 north, 57.0 west. It's about 600 miles northeast of the northern Leeward Islands, with maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour and moving towards the east-northeast at 15 miles per hour. The system poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. If you need additional information on the system, please check the National Hurricane Center website at www.nhc.noaa.gov. Now the forecast for today and tonight for the Cayman Islands calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies, with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the mid-80s today and will dip to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be northeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gust, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should continue to exercise caution over open water for today and tonight as well. Low tide will be this afternoon at 12:50, high tide this evening at 6:27. The sun will set this evening at 5:44 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:38. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in winds and seas from tomorrow evening as the high-pressure system moves over the western Atlantic Ocean and weekends.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years, let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Remember to discard all fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, all foods in canisters, dented, leaking or rusting cans after they have come in contact with floodwater. Also discard foods that are stored in cardboard boxes, paper foil, cellophane, and cloth, as well as those in open containers and packages. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Top of the morning to you once again. Now let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Traffic is bumper to bumper on the Linford Pearson Highway. Also coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way, traffic busy. Steady traffic on Crew Road. Other sections of Crew Road, traffic is flowing moderately. Moderate flow of traffic heading towards the West Bay four-way stop. A little steady traffic, but nothing to worry about coming from the West Bay four-way stop. Looking towards Eastern Avenue and Godfrey Nixon Way, flowing pretty good, as well as Edward Street and Shedden Road. No issues there. And traffic busy coming towards, heading towards the Butterfield roundabout. That's on the Esther Tibbetts Highway. Slight delays expected. And on Oil Roberts Drive, traffic is light to moderate. That's the very latest on your traffic. If you've seen accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman 949-6-990. Remember, click it or ticket.
Do you ever have those days when you have to get a super early start? Or you're out late and want something fresh and healthy to eat? Subway has now opened their 4th 24-hour location for you early birds and night owls. Subway at West Shore Center on 7 Mile is now open 24 hours. So now you can grab any of Subway's fresh menu items any time of the day at 4 convenient locations. West Shore Center 7 Mile, Countryside in Savannah, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers West Bay. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
BritK protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit britk.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
Sign up for the DCFS Universal Children's Day 5K Run Walk and help families in need. Sunday, 24th November, starting 6 a.m. at Dragon Bay Safe Haven. The theme is
I Have a Voice.
Hear Me Roar. Feel free to wear something on the wild side. Entry fee is only $15 for adults, $5 for children, 16 years old and younger, with t-shirts for the first 75 registrants, with a free raffle for all. Register at caymanactive.com. There will be a special registration day at the Government Administration Building for cash payments on Wednesday, November 20th between noon and 4 p.m.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio this morning, so our phone lines are open while I share with you material from the Tradewinds newspaper and other material as well. I want to remind you of our phone numbers, our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. That means that you won't be charged for that call. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, for the record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261. And of course, follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. I also want to say to those persons who are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you've celebrated one in the past few days, belated happy birthday. And if you're going to be celebrating one during the weekend, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. And we urge you, whatever you do, please do it in moderation. For those of you who have lost loved ones during the past few weeks, past few days, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. And we hope and we trust that your faith will take you through these very challenging times. We have a few messages, emails from some of our listeners as well. And this listener says, good morning to you. Your comments are well placed regarding the need for proper pronunciation at all ports of entry. The person says, I heard an ad on Radio Cayman some weeks ago that could not be clearly understood due to the accented pronunciation of certain words. This is no reflection on Radio Cayman, but would simply could simply lose business to the promoter as well. It is critical that the Caymanian voice is heard as far as possible at all times. So I want to thank that listener for that as well. And they go on to point out that when they say ports of entry, what they mean is where our national airlines and other carriers who may support this area are departing for Cayman. Same applies on the Cayman Airways itself, the person has pointed out also. Again, going back to our Tradewinds newspaper ad in relation to the vetoing of the income tax bill. You would have heard some names on the government side that were called that may not have been familiar to you. Those voting for the motion, of course, Mr. Benson Ebanks, that name would be quite familiar to you. Also, the late Mr. Warren Connolly, the late Sir Vassal Johnson, and then we had J.G. Horsfall, who was the judge, the magistrate. I think it was a stipendiary magistrate in the Cayman Islands. Those days, a judge sat in the Legislative Assembly. The other name that you would have been familiar with on the government side, D.V. Watler, that would have been Mr. Desmond Watler, who was the assistant administrator. And we also had Mr. E.U. McNamee. That should be familiar. The name should be familiar to you as well. And of course, in those days, the administrator presided over our Legislative Assembly. So let's look at that for a moment. We had a judge who was not elected sitting in our Legislative Assembly. We had the assistant administrator sitting in our Legislative Assembly. And we had that person probably was a nominated member as well, Mr. McNamee, who sat in our Legislative Assembly, amongst other, those other, I think I may have said 10 before, but it was actually 11 who voted against it. Some of them may have been not nominated members as well. So let's look at 1965, and what occurred then, 1965, 1966, what occurred then, and what we have today in terms of the composition of our Legislative Assembly. We now have a Speaker of our Legislative Assembly. That Speaker has been elected from amongst members of our Legislative Assembly. The Speaker has been chosen from amongst the membership of our Legislative Assembly, no longer the administrator or the governor. We still have the Deputy Governor who sits in our Legislative Assembly, and we now have an Attorney General who sits in our Legislative Assembly, both not elected, but both not having any vote either in our Legislative Assembly. So we've come a long way between the mid-1960s and today as far as the composition of our Legislative Assembly is concerned. Let's look at some of the other issues that our legislature looked into at this November sitting of the Legislative Assembly. One of the laws that they passed, and which the writer of the article pointed out that it would affect all drivers or owners of major vehicles in the Cayman Islands, was a bill to amend the Motor Vehicles Law 1961. That was a law. This law imposes higher motor vehicle license duties on You Drive It motor vehicles. Now, for those of you who are in the modern age, in those days it was called a You Drive It. We know them today as rent-a-cars, car rentals. Those days it was called You Drive, and I'll tell you a little story about that in a minute as well. So they imposed a higher license on You Drive It motor vehicles, motorcycles, tractors, and transporters of other vehicles which cannot travel the roads, as well as higher duties on private vehicles. So private vehicles, the higher duties were imposed on them. Vehicles that transported other vehicles that are not allowed to travel on the road, that would be something like trailers, like lowboys and things of that nature. Motorcycles, and like I said before, You Drive It vehicles. Now, during the mid-60s, there were several controversial issues that came up in the Cayman Islands as a result of the rapid pace of development in the Cayman Islands. One had to do with the introduction of insurance, mandatory insurance for vehicles on the roads of the Cayman Islands. That was vehemently opposed by many members of the public, because they saw that as foreign influence, foreign companies wanting to come into the Cayman Islands to make money, to do business, because of course all of the insurance companies were foreign companies, mainly coming out of Jamaica. And the government felt that it was prudent to introduce motor vehicle insurance in the Cayman Islands. Smart move. It was needed because you were not protected any other way other than probably through civil litigation if you were involved in an accident and you were possibly injured seriously or otherwise. There was no protection. So people were opposed to that, but it did pass. The other issue had to do with the introduction of rental cars. You Drive It, as it was called then, cars into the Cayman Islands. We had prominent taxi drivers, persons like Mr. Nemard, Mr. Hilton, Mr. Ira Walton, Miss Sunbeam, who eventually had rental cars, as well. You had persons like Mr. He used to live right behind Uncle Regis, Mr. Reggie Bernard. There, I'll soon remember his name. He used to play the piano and everything. But we had several taxi drivers in the Cayman Islands, and they felt that the introduction of rental vehicles into the Cayman Islands would impact their business and their ability to earn. Some of you may say, something. We're having those same debates today. The same arguments can be made today, whether or not there's enough of the pie to go around for everyone. But in those days, people were up in arms against it. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Oh, sorry. Mr. Everard Miles was the man that I wanted to remember his name. Mr. Everard, taxi driver as well. And I probably may have missed some, and if you know some, certainly send their names in. I will call them as well, because they were pioneers in the Cayman Islands. Those are people that we need to still continue to recognize. Those are the people whose shoulders we stand on today, and we must recognize them. Let's go to the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah, back again. Yes, fine, trying to fight it. Kind of flu here, horse short, and a lot of people seem to be.
Oh, yeah, this weather will bring it on, yes.
Mild forms of it. It doesn't bother me for a couple of days, but I get a horse short. It's wonderful and eloquent how you put it that way about us standing on these people's shoulders, and it's so important we realize that. Especially young people. Many of those names, I knew them all. Every name. Is it S.A. Banks? Would not be Mr. Birdie?
Probably, yes. I think that would have been,
Banks.
yes, Mr. Birdie, yes.
And then the miles, everyone, I remember the taxi drivers and so forth, because when I was helping to run that rent-a-car and the Shell agency there for Mr. Jim Borden in 1969, 70, all those people were still around, still doing the same thing. That was only a few years after that article, 2 years after. Incidentally, today is 56 years since President Kennedy was assassinated.
That's correct, yep.
I remember very, very well exactly. I had just taken the last exam for senior Cambridge, and that was biology, I remember it. And actually, when I was listening to it on the radio, I thought it was a play. Because when I got home, there was only Mama, my mother was home, and the old man was at sea, yes, and with a huge fishing vessel, he went out to Serenella Banks and so forth. Then he had got permission for all the big fishing vessels in Jamaica to use that, the Serenellas, and I remember that. And everybody else at work, my brother Stan, like I've been gone back to CES, to National Buzz, and I remember that I come home and I said to her, it must be, I was painting some cheers for her, and I remember saying to her, I thought it was a play. They had those things on the radio at the time. It was Radio Jamaica, yes. And I remember listening to it, and then suddenly I realized it was real. When they started saying, the different police, the FBI, they're just coming in, and you heard the live sort of things coming. When I realized it was a reality, and it left everybody dumbstruck, of course. Everything was focused on that for days around the world.
Yes.
But to say with what you're talking about, there is with the composition of the House, and it's important that we realize now the changes that have been made, giving us the people who we elect, as I've always felt, that those should be the people in charge. And I'm happy about the new amendments to the Constitution. It gives us more autonomy, which is what we should seek for, because that's why we elect the people. Of course, you had a very sort of self-governed situation after the first election, December the 10th, 1831, up at the old St. James House, Peter Castle. When the bicameral system, it was also with the elected on the justices.
Right.
Right, and then it would alternate between there and what is now the museum, and then it went to Bordentown too, the meetings. But they were self-ruled, self-governed. The Custos, or Chief Justice, he was given the title Custos, was a sort of a de facto governor, if that's the correct nomenclature. And they were all Caymanians, and they were the upper house, the magistrates, of course, were not elected. At the time of the first elections, it was 8 magistrates, and then because the British governor in Jamaica had appointed 2 more Caymanians as magistrates, because one had died, and Mr. Hunter had died, I think. And then from that letter that was written, I think Mr. Steve McField, Dr. Steve was talking about that letter on December 5th, October 26, 1831, sent to Belmore, the British governor in Jamaica, Lord Belmore, Earl Belmore, and so forth. But then his response was to appoint 2 more magistrates. Well, they were all the laws that the 2 houses passed. Of course, they met together on the same day whenever the government met, the 2 separate rooms, and they passed the laws or the dated, and then they put them into effect themselves immediately. I think that went on until 1898 when the first commissioner came down, said Sanguinetti and so forth. And then, of course, that would end that self-rule, self-governed thing, because from then on, the governor would have to sign it, who was, and responsible to England immediately, directly then, or to the British government in Jamaica at that time, much more. So we could have called ourselves self-ruled, self-governed until 1898. They were talking on Wednesday, and I'm so glad they did, because I've often tried to do this, Mr. Issa and Dr. Steve, especially Dr. Steve, about the difference with why Jamaica went independent and things. It's necessary for people who keep talking up, and as you're saying, you realize many people are talking and they know absolutely nothing about Jamaica's history, what led up to that decision to go independent. And it started from 1953, really, the real push for it, where they kept pushing the Constitution to its limit. By 1957, the British governor there, he had very, very little power. It was mostly ceremonial by 1957. And in 1962, as a result of the referendum from to get out of the Federation, it wasn't working at all. This is what England wanted, the Federation of all its former colonies. They had made a decision to go independent. It was really no other choice but that then. But what I'd like to say is there were several wealthy. Jamaica was exporting at the time of their going independent millions of pounds a year in bauxite, millions of pounds just in rum and in sugar cane, millions and millions of pounds, coffee, bananas, many, many things. And also the gypsum to make the sheet rocking and stuff like that.
Caller, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut you there because I've gone 5 minutes past the commercial break that we should have taken. But please feel free to call back. We'll have lots of time because we have no guests in the studio. Folks, have to take this commercial break now. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Back by popular demand for November only. It's your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Vamp is making it easier than ever for you to drive home a real deal, where you can choose how much you'll save on your new vehicle and whether you want to get cash back or add-on upgrades to it. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $5,000 off select vehicles during our November sale. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Ford your tuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. It's your sale, your choice, but only during November. So come by Vamp Motors on Walker's Road, where your new SUV or truck is waiting for you to drive home.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You, yes, you can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Preventing dengue is as simple as preventing mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, and stay indoors during early dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Control the places around you where mosquitoes breed. Remove stagnant water in outdoor and household settings. As a weekly habit, persons should change the water in vases, clear the water in saucers under potted plants, and ensure air conditioner drip trays are free of stagnant water. Outdoor objects capable of holding water should be kept empty and preferably disposed of or put into dry storage if not used. These include open bottles and tins, watering cans, buckets, empty paint tins, and old vehicle tires. Do your part to control the spread of dengue. The dengue virus is an infectious disease transmitted through mosquito bites. Symptoms may come on as early as 4 days or as late as 3 weeks following an infection. There is no vaccine or specific medication to treat dengue. Symptoms of dengue include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and rash. If persons have any of these symptoms, they should go to the nearest health center or hospital. It is advised to drink lots of liquids and avoid medication that contains aspirin.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, so we have an open line this morning. We're allowing callers as much time as possible, but we always have to bear in mind that every 15 minutes we take a commercial break. So those commercial breaks will, come on the 15-minute junctures, like, for instance, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, 10 o'clock, things of that nature, during those periods of time. I did want to clarify something that I read earlier in terms of pronunciation on radio ads. And the writer just wanted to clarify, and they have written and said, to be specific, the ad that I am referring to did not appear to be produced by Radio Cayman. Significantly, the most important word, quote unquote, wharf, could not be understood. So that was what the person was commenting about in terms of radio ad heard on Radio Cayman. And we'll hopefully try to get more information as to specifically what ad it is. So if anything, maybe it can be redone as well. I did mention taxi drivers, and I did invite persons because I knew I would miss out a whole lot of names. And I did invite people to share with me the names of other taxi drivers in the 60s. One that I missed out, several, including Mr. Ashton Gold, who was a taxi driver as well, and I want to give a big shout out this morning to his wife, Miss Amy Gold as well, one of the big, huge fans of Radio Cayman and For the Record as well. So Miss Amy, good morning to you, and I hope and trust that you have a happy holiday season as well. I believe that I did mention Mr. Ira Thompson, but nothing wrong with mentioning Mr. Ira Thompson again, Mr. Jim Warren, Miss Birdie from West Bay, yes, Mr. Clarendon Seymour, Mr. Claude Hill. And those days we didn't have Uber, but I believe we had something better than Uber, because what you did, if you wanted Mr. Everard to pick you up, especially if your father or any family member was going traveling and they're going to the airport, you made sure that you book that passage. We used to call it the passage. Book your passage well in advance, and in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever time, that driver was there, for you. So we had something that worked just as good or better than Uber here in the Cayman Islands at that point in time. Want to go back to the Tradewinds newspaper and share some more with you in terms of the passing of bills at that point in time, because like I said, I believe it is important, it is instructive that we discuss this, that I share this with you, because the Finance Committee of our Legislative Assembly is meeting now to consider an almost $2 billion budget for the Cayman Islands. So there were some new licensing fees that were imposed for private motor vehicle. It was £8 at that point in time. For a taxi, it was £10. For a you drive it motor vehicle, it was £12. For a station wagon, you paid £10. For omnibus, it was £14. Trucks under 1 ton, under 1 ton capacity, you paid £10 for that as well. And then trucks up to 1.5 tons, £12 per year. Trucks above 1.5 tons, £14 and things of that nature. And another bill that was passed was one that gave government the authority to borrow £150,000 to be used to finance programs of road development work in the Cayman Islands. Now, road development work, road infrastructure, highly important, because that was when tourism sector was starting to grow. The boom in tourism was coming along. And for those observers and even advisors who came to the Cayman Islands to tell us about how to develop our tourism industry, they stressed the importance of having a proper road infrastructure for people to get around. So 1966, £150,000 for road development work. I would venture a guess to say we probably more than 150 million these days in terms of what we would budget for road improvements in the Cayman Islands, again, due to our growth. Goes on to say that loan of £150,000 would be made by Barclays Bank at a 6.5% rate of interest over a period of 20 years. So £150,000 over a 20-year period at an interest rate of 6.5%. Said the money will be used to rebuild, renovate, or pave roads in the Cayman Islands. Several banks had bid for the privilege of making the loan, and Barclays Bank was the successful bidder for that. Well, how timely, how timely. We read in today's Cayman Compass, Butterfield Bank wins a bid for $153 million government loan. That has to deal with the bullet bond and the refinancing of that bullet bond. So £150,000 for road in 1966, $153 million loan for our bullet bond that we borrowed, the Cayman Islands government borrowed for development purposes and other purposes. So the thousands have now gone, now translate into a million. 1,000 translates now into a million. 150,000, 153 million in 2019. Time for a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Starting November 1st to December 31st, you can earn double points every time you use your Fidelity credit or prepaid cards. That's not all. When you use your card on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, Fidelity's giving you triple points. That means you have a whole weekend to rack up 3 times the points for travel, merchandise, and more. And with added protection of instant text alerts, 90-day purchase protection, and chip and PIN technology, you can shop with confidence. Fidelity. We're good for you.
I'm starting my shopping early this year. What you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
America's #1 acne brand Proactive is now in stock at Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor. Take care of your skin and stop chasing pimples with Proactive. Their combination therapy approach is a preventative strategy that gives you a complete, multi-step skincare regimen and acne-fighting medicine. Proactive attacks acne at every stage of the cycle. Proactive is recommended by dermatologists for a reason. It works. Ask for Proactive at Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor.
Ocean Med is open for appointments at Bayshore Mall. The only healthcare facility on island designed exclusively for women offers a wide range of radiology-based medical screening and diagnostic tests, such as mammograms and ultrasounds, with state-of-the-art technology, full OBGYN services, a complimentary healthcare coordinator, and a stunning facility equipped with calming, multi-sensory exam suites. Ocean Med is dedicated to providing competitively priced healthcare excellence to women in our community. Book your appointment today. Call 946-2326 or visit oceanmed.ky.
Support our tourism.
Do you still have questions about the cruise berthing facility? Would you like more information? Come and hear officials from government and Verdant Isle Port partners speak about the project and have your questions answered. Public meetings are happening across Grand Cayman until December 5th. Visit supportourtourism.com for all meeting dates. Be informed because truth matters.
Support our tourism.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. Open line for people to call in. We're discussing the meeting of the Legislative Assembly, November 1966. Some of the issues that were addressed by our legislators in those days. I did mention to you the fact that one of the issues that was addressed was a loan of $150,000 for redevelopment, road redevelopment works at over a 20-year period at an interest rate of 6.5%. We take that and compare it to the 10-year to a loan that Butterfield Bank was successful in winning the bid for $153 million to deal with the bullet bond, and that's at a rate of 3.25%. So government again went out there and it was very competitive to secure a 3.25% interest on that loan. The days in 1966, we had Barclays Bank here. I'm not sure if Royal Bank was here at the time. We probably had maybe two or three banks. Whether or not it went out to competition those days, not too sure as well. I want to share this with you before we go to our callers, and this person has said, thank you kindly for shouting out my mom, Miss Amy. Thanks for mentioning my dad, Mr. Ashton Gold. I would like to let you all know his son, Lox Legole of the Legislative Assembly, has taken up from where our dad has left off and is also a long-serving tax operator of Ace, Nice Taxi, and Yellow Cab. So gave him a little plug there, as well. So Mr. Lox Legole has. Okay, we have two callers, and we're going to ask callers to be as brief as possible because we want to bear in mind that you have a caller queued up behind you as well. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again.
Good morning again, sir. Good morning again.
Yes.
Sorry I had to cut you off there, but
no,
I was 5 minutes past my commercial break.
I understand. No, I was just trying to show the importance of many things that Dr. Steve and them were talking about with Jamaica. And you forgot about the famous Bushy from West Bay, Mr. Henry Bush. He used to drive taxi too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Henry
famous
Bush.
Henry
Yes,
Bush.
Mr. Henry. Yeah.
Job didn't drive no taxi. Talking about patience.
And Birdie.
That's what he said. Job didn't drive no taxi. When he was asked why he didn't have the patience of Job. I was just going to say with the issue of the wealth in Jamaica, I knew personally that there were quite a few very wealthy black Jamaicans. I mean, very wealthy. And there's some moderately wealthy also. And I knew some that had very little education because I remember Dr. Steve talking about that, who were very, very smart people, could barely read and write and sign their names, who owned all like 38 houses. I'm talking about real good houses that they rented out and stuff like that. And in big business, with many bars and stuff like that. So there were people managed to get wealth, but most of the wealth, as we know, lay in the hands of powerful white Jamaicans with big, humongous businesses. Anyhow, the idea of the direct income tax, that always interested me, and I listened to what you're saying with the 66. news report there from the trade winds. I remember all the people, and that's Rosedean Jackson, very well, and Billy and all the others. And it's so important that you're rehashing this, and I hope you keep on with that. But we've got to remember the pound note then was worth almost $3 US dollars, 7 shillings a dollar, 20 shillings a pound. And even up into 1970-72, when we converted into dollars from 69, a Jamaican dollar, and 72 $1, 10 shilling note became dollar. That gasoline, the price of a gallon of gas here was 35 cents. And then that's 47 years ago. And also, many things were built. You could get a 55-gallon or US gallon barrel of kerosene oil for $9.70 wholesale. And you could get, things were very, very, 1,000 pounds, in other words, bought a heck of a lot more than $1,000 could buy now. And then we had 15,000 people maybe, and there were 90% generational Caymanians, and now it's 70,000, and more than half, I'm sure, are not generational, very much more than half Caymanians. So a whole different ball game we're playing with, whole different. But the idea of direct income tax, salary like what Bermuda does, are in the same business as us, and all the other countries that are in the big business of financial world, they have income tax. They all do, corporate tax, everything. So I know it's coming here. It will come. That will be a day I'll celebrate. I'll take a personal holiday. Direct income tax only. No corporate tax, no nothing else.
Thank you.
It's coming.
Thank you very much, caller.
You very much. Have a wonderful day.
You too, sir. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, O.C. How are you, man?
I'm fine. Good morning. How are you? How are things over there?
Very good. Nice and cool. Breezy. Cold fronts. O.C., you sort of touch back a little bit in history. You know, the taxi drivers, most of them, my old man was one of the most prominent taxi drivers. Actually, my old man taught most of those taxi drivers have to drive. Because you got to remember now that my old man grew up in Cuba.
You're right.
And when he came here, we were well versed in driving and mechanics. And a lot of these guys were, you know, him and these guys that he taught to drive. Also, when it comes to transportation, the students from West Bay, my old man had a truck with seats in the back. That a lot of most of the students, if you were coming to high school, in those days, you were getting on my old man truck to bring you to high school. You understand?
Okay, got you.
Also, when you talk about the...
And did the students pay that, or was that sponsored by government, or the families had to pay?
I really don't know. I think it was more sort of like privatized, I think. I don't really think it was that the government was sort of financing anything.
Okay.
Or the school. But I just think it was more like private. They probably gave him money to bring him to school and whatever. But, you know, when it puzzles me sometimes to hear some of the things come out in the news and the same trade winds that the people that seem to capture a lot of the history and the people that should have captured some of the history, for some reason, the reporters or journalism in those days, it seemed like if you didn't have some sort of like upper crust status in Cayman, you didn't really hit the news, you know?
I'm not sure that I agree with that, because if you looked at, there's a whole lot that I could share with you in these newspapers, but all things like school sports and stuff like that, people like Ned Solomon, Alvin Jump, Erna Borden, a lot of footballers, even myself, they were reported. You have teachers like George Hill who wrote for the newspapers and stuff. So to me, those days, it was much more localized than anything else. Miss Frances Borden, when she went to the airport, and she would be reporting on who went off island and who came back, she mentioned everyone.
Well, see, what I'm really driving at is more focusing on the people that really started the ball rolling.
Okay.
In the Cayman Islands with
Okay.
competition. I don't really want to go out into that topic that you're going into now.
No, but what I was pointing out to you was you were saying that it seemed as if only the people with a certain status, got the recognition. I've passed 9 o'clock, so I'm going to ask you to leave us there. If you want to stay on the line, as soon as we return from the headline news at 9 o'clock, we will be back with you. Folks, please stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
The Pirates Week Festival announces the winner of this year's District Heritage Day competition, East End. Boddentown and Georgetown came in a close second and third, respectively. Highlighting the history and culture of Cayman, the District Heritage Days are judged on the committee's ability to showcase the traditions of that district, along with the overall presentation, friendliness of volunteers, and cleanliness of the location. An ex-White House aide has told the impeachment inquiry that U.S. President Donald Trump disregarded senior advisors and pushed a false theory that Ukraine had meddled in the 2016 election. Fiona Hill said the president had instead listened to the views of his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. Ms. Hill called the claims about Ukraine a, quote, fictional narrative. The inquiry is assessing if Mr. Trump withheld aid to pressure Ukraine to investigate a political rival. And Russian President Vladimir Putin has promised to press on with the development of a nuclear-powered rocket believed to have been at the center of a deadly accident. 5 engineers and 2 others died when a rocket engine exploded at a test range on the White Sea on August 8th. Defense experts think it was part of a nuclear-powered cruise missile. Those are your latest headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, but we're talking everything that you want to talk about. I'm focusing on the Trade Winds newspaper, 1966, November 1966. We had to interrupt the caller. I believe the caller is still there. Lord Len, my apologies, but we had to go to commercial break. You know, we have to pay. We have to pay the bills. You're a businessman, so you know that about that.
I know. But I got a little free time now.
Okay, good. Yes.
See. What you see, you also mentioned this gentleman by the name of Mr. Aston Gold.
Yes.
Yeah, when he came to Cayman, actually he started working with my woman. He was a baker on Mayo Street at one time,
Okay.
And through my woman being so much into transportation and heavy equipment and whatever, that he sort of learned to drive through him, if my memory serves me correct, and eventually he got his taxi license. At that time, he was almost all over the island at one stage because he was one of the older guys, him and the man from West Bay, Mr. Ernest Jackson, and quite a few older guys that I can sort of remember. And I know it was trucks in Cayman before, but when people wanted like a load of sand or marl or rocks to fill in a place to pour a foundation, it was those guys that they contacted, And the taxi business really, it really come a long way. But to be honest, the government haven't really looked at it and really tried to make sure that the standard of taxi in Cayman is maintained, because some people that are into that field right now really, from what I see, shouldn't really be there, because it seems as if like some people, they're driving taxi, all they have to then is to collect the money or the fare, and that's it. Explaining to the passengers or visitors what such and such a place is all about, and you can do this and do that. If it's a restaurant now, that they're getting a kickback from, they will recommend it. But as far as being that, Caymanian way, we lost a lot of that. And you got to remember, taxi people are some of the first people that meet visitors to our islands,
Yes.
And they say a first impression is a lasting impression. And I tell you, man, really, the taxi business in the Cayman Islands really need somebody to get in there, step in there, and see and make sure that they get the right people in this business, because God knows what's happening in a lot of other places. To say they get the wrong people in the wrong places as far as like driving taxi, working in restaurants, anything to do with the tourists. Because really, financial business in Cayman Islands may be fine and down there, but you see tourism, people will always want to come to the Cayman Islands, but they will not always want to come to Cayman Islands unless the government take a real, real good look and make sure that the people that on the front line are doing a job that is satisfied to Caymanians, not the foreigners, to Caymanians, because we know how we want things done into the Cayman Islands, and we don't want nobody from no part of the world coming here telling us it's special how to treat tourists. Thank you very much, O.C.
Thank you very much for that, too. I agree wholehearted with you on that. And I think what the caller was basically saying there, you have two types of taxi drivers. You have those, the taxi driver who's interested in that fare and going on and picking up the next fare. And then you have the taxi driver who is not only looking for a fare, but looking to promote the islands as well, and to make an impression or ambassador, being an ambassador for the Cayman Islands as well. Talking about taxi drivers, and we can include in this people who drove trucks and had their benches on the back, like Mr. Goldwyn from East End, and of course, right near to home, and I want to thank Dr. Steve McField. I was on the phone with him conversing just now, and my own uncle, Boye Ebanks, used to drive a taxi as well. So I want to mention him. Miss Susan in the Brack, I think who we had, Miss Elo Esteban, and Singer. Okay. Miss Edwards. Or Singer, if we got that wrong, please correct us as well. And then we had persons like in Northside. Of course, Mr. Craddock had his truck and his buses. But there was another prominent gentleman up there, also Mr. Solomon Ebanks, who used to drive, as well. So lots of people who helped to build this country, and we have to ensure that we give them due recognition, because without their efforts, we would not be where we are today. Okay, here's something also of interest, and we have had some callers, and there's one person in general who's has strong opinions about government subsidies. The article talks about a topic of the most importance, although only up for mention, was the Hotel Aid Law, which was dealt with by the House at length. It says that the reported consensus of the House was that although the law, which allows duty-free importation on building materials for establishments having more than 10 bedrooms, may not be repealed in the future, it should definitely be amended. It was reported that House Assemblymen brought up the subject after learning of rumors that a recent West Bay development was building and selling its units after qualifying for the Hotel Aids Law. So we had shenanigans going on even in 1966, in relation to taking advantage or whether or not there were loopholes or otherwise in the tourism aids law. And it was reported, and legislators were concerned that a West Bay development was building and selling units after qualifying for Hotels Aid law. This may have been the start of the development of condominiums in the Cayman Islands. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C., and welcome back.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Dwayne and Miss Donna did a real good job. I mean, Dwayne, we hear him every day, so we know that he does a good job. And so you don't need to fear about your people. Since we're in the tourism, we're talking about tourism and we're talking about everything else. You know, I see in the paper we brag about room stock and whatnot, but is any Caymanians getting jobs in these places? And if it is, you can count them on one hand. And that is so sad. This island is ours, and we have people coming in yesterday and today they're your boss because the work permit has been granted before they landed on these shores. They know nothing of Grand Cayman. They know nothing of its people, and yet we're bragging about room stock. But Caymanians are out of jobs. Now, Caymanians is who built the tourism. There's retired people in this island that is quite willing to teach or even work along with Caymanians, because we had good bartenders, good waitresses, and we can give all the information. The taxi drivers, that's a different thing. Some of them need to be really overhauled. The presentation that they make of themselves, the way that they dress of themselves, it's sometimes ridiculous. And I've seen buses and minibuses, public buses, sometimes taxis. Now, not all of them are alike because we're not all alike. Some are very good at their job, and praise be to them. But they're driving off. They just picked up tourists now coming from the beach, and the towels are hanging out of the door because they didn't wait for the person to even sit down before they're driving off because they're in such a big hurry, especially the days that the ship is in. Who is checking on all of these things? There is places along that 7 Mile area and restaurants and stuff. And I go to restaurants really often because I want to see how many Caymanians are employed. And you, like I said, some don't have any at all. None at all. Who's checking on all of this? We have a big tourism department. Is anybody checking from there? You go to that department, tourism, and they're all on a computer. Is anybody out there checking to see how that Caymanian is coming along, or how is he enjoying the job? It should be taught. Anybody that want to join. Go into tourism as a profession, but it got to be classes. Don't tell me now, the Minister for Tourism got classes going, because maybe that was a start, and a few graduated, and then after that they couldn't even get jobs in tourism. Or see, what is happening here in our tourism is ridiculous. Like I said, I manage condos. I know about the poor speaking people that is driving taxis, English is not their first language. All of that, they should have courses on information about this island so we can sell this island. But nothing like that happens. Only time it happens and tourism is when the late Jim Borden was in the realm. He handled tourism like the way it should go. And I heard you on the radio this morning about speaking on the PA. You don't understand it. Even Summer Cayman Airways flight attendants, they make huge mistakes. They want your attention. They make huge mistakes, and what do? Laugh in the PA like that's a big joke. Like it's a big joke. Tourism need to be overhauled, turned upside down, and we should be the people to choose who works in these hotels. Them hotels, they call themselves 5-star, but don't have Caymanians working in the front nor in the back. If they're in the back, they're doing the dishes and treated like we don't even belong here. OC, I thank you, and I wish you a good weekend, and a good weekend to my friend Susan and Radio Cayman.
Thank you very much, caller. Folks, we have to go to commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Starting November 1st to December 31st, you can earn double points every time you use your Fidelity credit or prepaid cards. That's not all. When you use your card on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, Fidelity's giving you triple points. That means you have a whole weekend to rack up 3 times the points for travel, merchandise, and more. And with added protection of instant text alerts, 90-day purchase protection, and chip and PIN technology, you can shop with confidence. Fidelity. We're good for you.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Back by popular demand for November only. It's your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Vamp is making it easier than ever for you to drive home a real deal, where you can choose how much you'll save on your new vehicle and whether you want to get cash back or add-on upgrades to it. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $5,000 off select vehicles during our November sale. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Fortuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. It's your sale, your choice, but only during November. So come by Vamp Motors on Walker's Road, where your new SUV or truck is waiting for you to drive home.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Breakfast is back. Yes, tomorrow, Saturday, November 23rd, starting at 7 a.m. at the Lions Community Center. Enjoy a Caribbean breakfast, fried fish and fritters, liver and onions, and ackee and saltfish, starting at only $10, and help support the Lions Club and your community. Get your Caribbean breakfast tomorrow, Saturday, November 23rd, starting at 7 a.m.
This holiday, Logic is helping you mix and match. So, whether it's reggae jingle bells or wearing plaid with Santa sweaters, anything goes. It's all about the freedom to choose, like mixing and matching your Logic services. The more you spend, the more you save. Plus, we're doubling our internet speeds, which means you're getting the island's fastest internet at up to 30% less than the competition. It's like Christmas all year round. Visit logic.ky to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
The government claims the cruise berthing facility won't cost us a penny. It will be paid for by the cruise passenger who use it, not by our people or our government.
The fact is, you will be paying. Because government is going to give the consortium development team, led by Royal Caribbean and Carnival, a portion of the cruise revenue that is currently being banked by government. What's more, we will be repaying them
$450 million.
$250 million more
than what the facility even costs.
It's your vote, your future. So make a decision based on fact.
You deserve the whole truth.
They say it takes a village. We say it takes a country. Unemployment rate is the lowest in a decade. I'm able to provide for my family because I'm gainfully employed. For more information on strong public finances, visit gov.ky/strong economy.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers. Before we go to the callers, I just want to read another message that I received. It says, Mr. Connor, please don't forget the late Haig Barden's brother-in-law, my grandfather, Edward Carl Powell. Was a long-term prominent taxi driver based in West Bay. So again, want to recognize Mr. Edward, also known as Carl Powell, based in West Bay, taxi driver as well. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very well. And this is a quick line from the production. Morning, Mr. Horsey, is me hand? and then you reply, well, what's wrong with your hand? No, man, not me hand, is me hand. Yes, you his pandy here. So it's running. It's Rundown 2019.
Great.
You, Mr. O.C., to come and see Rundown and all your listeners.
I certainly will.
Rundown usually plays March and April, but it's very late this year. Many people have noticed that, and that's for various reasons. But never have we missed Rundown since it started in 1992. Rundown happens every year. It's comedy, poking fun at life in Caymanian society. So it's running at the Hartwell Theatre now 2 more weekends. It's this weekend and next weekend. If you don't catch it then, you miss it for 2019. So encouraging you, all your listeners, to come out Friday night, Saturday nights, 8 p.m., Sunday matinee at 6 p.m. Catch it at the Hartwell Theatre. So why I've called this morning, Mr. O.C., and if there are any doubts in the minds of your listeners of who it is, I always identify myself. My name is Quincy Brown. I'm talking about the transportation system that we have in this country. I, for one, since I returned to Grand Cayman, I actually did not buy myself a car. No. So I rely heavily on the bus transportation system. I think it's easy, quick, convenient, and it's affordable. $2, you can jump from West Bay to East End if you needed to. Well, actually, that would be an additional $2, because if you left from West Bay to Georgetown, that would be $2. You'd have to get another bus then from Georgetown to East End. So $4.
Okay.
It's very affordable. And tourists visiting our islands realize it too. Once they come to realize, okay, they're staying at the West End or they're staying at the Holiday Inn or wherever they're staying on the 7 Mile Beach stretch, once they realize that they can catch a local bus for $2, they start doing it too, because taxes are so much more expensive, obviously. But I want to make a suggestion. About 5 years ago, I called the talk show to suggest that we have a bus only servicing the Georgetown area. What about those people living in Georgetown proper who do not need to leave the district? They just need to get to Walker's Road. And you know something? They introduced a bus that does that route? Absolutely.
Yes.
My concern now, though, is Bus 3. Bus 3 does the West Bay Airport route, but they only do it on Monday to Friday. Now, people don't need to get to the airport on Saturday and Sunday 2 hours. What they say is, well, the depot is closed, and they're correct. They say it's a weekend. Government don't work on weekend. I say, well, maybe not all government departments work on a weekend, but what about the essential services? They work on Saturday and Sunday too. So it's a free day for them then. So if you almost have to beg them, I need to get to the airport on a Saturday and Sunday, and it's only up to the kindness of their heart if they say, well, all right, come and give you a ride, because they're adamant in saying we, as number 3 bus drivers, only do this route Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, the bus depot in town is closed, so we kind of do our own thing. That needs to change. That needs to change, even if it means putting somebody at that bus depot on a Saturday and Sunday. Because as far as I'm concerned, Saturday and Sunday is like Tuesday and Wednesday. We don't tell the difference.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference these days. Yes, you're right about that, Quincy.
I mean, gone are the days, Mr. O.C., when we knew when a Sunday was a Sunday because it had that kind of religious, spiritual feeling about it, going church and thing. But Sunday in Grand Cayman feels to me like a Thursday.
I agree with you. And even holidays, Quincy.
Even holidays.
Yes.
So that's my 2 cents for today. I want to see something done by the Department and Ministry of Transport to see that little booth either opens on a Saturday and Sunday, the bus depot next to the library, or they have a good talk with number 3 bus drivers and let them know they are offering a service, and it should be Sunday right back to Sunday. Number 3 bus runs to the airport. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much, Quincy, for that. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Hey, good morning, Cap. How are you?
Hoarse, but still thankful. What about I would like to remind you the slowest taxi driver that was in Cayman, but who was very efficient, and people also with Captain Carl Bush.
Yes. Someone just sent me a message mentioning his name as well. Yes.
And Jacob Manderson. Eddie Cuckoo. I'm sorry, I don't know his last name. He was E-Banks, but he used to call him Eddie Cuckoo, and his wife used to drive taxi also. So I just thought I remember that I would pass that on her.
Yes. Go ahead, Captain Paul.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Captain Paul, for that. Yes, someone did mention Earl from Smith Road also, but Captain Paul mentioned Mr. Carl Bush as well. And then one of our other listeners mentioned Captain Curry from West Bay. Mr. Ira Walton also did taxi. They also mentioned that as well. I want to thank those listeners for sharing those, with me. Also, I'm going to continue now with the Tradewinds newspaper. But before we do that, we've reached the point where we need to take a commercial break, actually. Let's take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
I'm starting my shopping early this year. What you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
As a Caymanian, it's very important to me that projects like this are thought of thoroughly before continuing.
My question is, do we need it?
and I've not yet been fully convinced that we need it, nor have I been fully convinced that we don't need it. So
what guarantee do we have that these ships are going to continue to come?
Please make the right decision.
Please don't let the catchy songs overturn you. Please support the referendum. Please ensure that you are supporting sustainable tourism, not just money-making tourism.
If the project plans have changed, even though it might be insignificant on paper, it's going to be significant for the environment.
They need to release official information, official facts.
That's where I am right now. I want to know, I want more information on do we need it.
It's your vote, your future.
So make a decision based on facts.
You deserve the whole truth.
The Cayman Islands National Museum invites you to join them for their 29th anniversary and Christmas Bazaar celebrations, Saturday 23rd November from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the National Museum on the waterfront. Come join in on their festivities, visit their talented traditional artisans and vendors, check out new enhancements to the Cayman Airways exhibition, and get your early Christmas shopping done. Admission is free for all. Enjoy a day of wholesome family celebrations at the Cayman Islands National Museum, Saturday, November 23rd.
Radio Cayman has always worked to showcase the best of our sister islands of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. From coverage of their agriculture shows, special Talk Today broadcasts, and church services. 4 years ago, we launched the Brac Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. In our inaugural year, we raised funds for the Harmony Learning Center. In year 2, for the Lions Club of Cayman Brac Kids Pantry. And last year, the So and So Club. This year, the Brac Breeze Fusion will be raising funds for the Leo's Club of Cayman Brac. To all of our Cayman Brac families, we invite you to join us on Saturday, November 30th at 6:30 a.m. Southside Public Beach. Step by step, we can do it.
Cayman Brac, yes, it is your turn. The Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run.
Register today at District Administration.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last half hour of the show this morning. I want to thank everyone for engaging in the conversation, participating. Taxi drivers, maybe. Here's Mr. Fonzo. If you're listening in, celebrate Cayman. Maybe we should look for a specific date when it comes to taxes in the Cayman Islands, and let's celebrate all of our old taxi drivers. Those who may have passed on, give a plaque to their family members who are still alive and recognizing them for the work that they have done in establishing taxi business in the Cayman Islands. Those were the people who made the connections with our tourists. Those are the people who tourists returned to the Cayman Islands year after year after year, simply because of the friendships that they developed with our Canadian people. One caller reminded me, this was off air, reminded me of Mr. Bernio. We used to call him Bernio Solomon, and he had his taxi service as well. On the side of his vehicle, he had Bunny's Baby Taxi Service also. Other taxi drivers, Mr. Egbert Murray. Mr. Murray, again, well-known, a fixture at the airport in Owen Roberts Airport as well. Then you had people like Mr. Ben Ross, who doubled as almost everything, putting out the flares, the lights on the runway, along with the Crew Road gang like Kerna Gomez and young boys up there would go and help him put the flares, the lights out for the planes to land at night in the Cayman Islands. He also operated a taxi service. Some persons worked in customs. They would help with the baggage. Once the baggage was done, then they'd come out and drive the taxi as well. Those were the days when there was more than enough for everyone to do. These days, we're getting a little bit more of a clamoring and the crab in the bucket mentality to a certain extent. But yes, celebrate Cayman. Let's do something for our former taxi drivers here in the Cayman Islands. Let's find something, a day to celebrate and to recognize them as well. going on to the Trade Winds newspaper again. And some of you may say, he's going back to those Trade Winds newspaper again. Yes, I'm going back to them because there is so much that we can learn from them. So much that was discussed in those days, issues that we are still continuing to struggle with even today. From 1966, we're still struggling with some of those issues today. So the article pointed out that it had been reported to the House of Assembly that a West Bay developer was building and selling its units after qualifying for hotel aids law. As a result of that, a committee was nominated to investigate this rumor and other developments built here in the past 3 years. Built then, that was in 1966. They were going to investigate that particular development and other developments that may have taken place in the last 3 years. It also points out that the hotel aid law will be revised during the December budget session by the Legislative Assembly. Also points out that prices, this sounds familiar, prices will be raised soon through the Monday and Tuesday legislation on beer, ale, other malt liquors, cider, and the perry, with tariff increases set at 10 shilling and 12 shilling, with the first figure representing the preferential tariff and the second one representing the general tariff. Other tariff increases including gasoline, 2 pence per gallon, alcohol, brandy, gin, rum, whiskey, and other potable spirits as well. Cigarettes were also increased. So what the government, the sin tax that we always refer to, the sin taxes were placed on as well in 1966. But again, that's how government raised their funds to be able to provide the services that were to be provided. I think we have a couple of callers. Let's go to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm not too bad, buddy. And how about you?
I am fine. Nice to hear your voice. I haven't heard that in quite a while.
That's right. And this is the first I'm talking to you since I've been home on this leg. And I'm bucked up on you to say, well, hug you for your late birthday time.
Exactly, yes. Coming up soon.
Yeah, we're birds so close together.
Yes.
Anyway, how could you ever not call Mr. Ira Thompson?
I did. He was one of the first ones that I called in the first segment. Yes.
And then we had Mr. Captain Curtis was of taxing. Then we had beloved Miss Birdie Ebanks. She was one of the best.
Called her, yes.
My father Lee Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Ernest Jackson. I never heard his name.
No. Someone else did mention him, though. Someone else did. A caller did.
Okay. Because if they start to go through that, it'll be cheap. And they were the days that we had taxes that you came out, knew the people and the courtesy. But I have bucked up on some taxes that do you even know that the entrance to the airport is not the old route they turn in. Before ITM turned in, then had to detour to back and turn back and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It is just taken away totally. I've never seen, and one of the things that I despise about taxes in Cayman, yes, they have a courtesy of supposed to be wearing a uniform, but you, apart from that shirt or that blouse, then you should be totally tidy and well kept and put together. Good shoes on your feet. If you don't have shoes, put a pair of sneakers under something. But I see some heels and some feet and slippers, and I don't know how they do it, and dry feet and dusty. I don't know. I think really it must be that people are trying to give the people the impression of our country, because some taxis you're going to, they definitely talk about their own countries of birth that they come from, and find out if the people went there, tell them what to expect the next time they go back there, and pushes on that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a group of friends, 18 friends that I've had from the time I was chairing Youth to Youth, and these ladies are all seniors right now, but they came to Cayman last week, and that was my first chance in getting an island tour of Cayman. I chose a Caymanian taxi woman driver because most of them were women. There was only 2 men in the patch. And I was really, really disappointed in some of the areas that we had to drive through. I mean, I don't know if the government are not looking at the condition of some people, places that live right by the roadside, because there was so much garbage and derelict and stuff piled up on the wayside going. All I could say to myself, I didn't want to interrupt the woman that was doing the tour, the driver, but say to myself, I hope these people don't think this is how. I then told them when we got out, a stop is because we're getting ready to clean up, but there are things.
Caller, remember you have another caller behind you waiting.
Yes, and there are things I've seen in Cayman OC from can't tell how long, piled up by the roadsides and stuff. We've got to clean up and fix up. Give people some paint up and fix up their places. It's terrible. Anyway, you have a great day, great weekend, and I think that is a great idea. Celebrate taxis and the drivers of Cayman that are there from way back, and those that are good now, because some is good, but some should be just rude.
Thank you very much for supporting that call, and I'll continue to repeat it as well. Caller, we still we have to take a commercial break as well, and if you're quick to call in after this commercial break, you will be able to get on, because we will close the lines off probably around about 10 minutes to 10. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that CPR Cayman is now a registered non-profit organization? The government is spending a lot of money on their campaign, so we need your help to get the word out to as many people as we can. You can make a donation via our website cprcayman.com or call us at 938-5876. This is our first People's Initiated referendum for a decision that will affect everyone's future. It's your vote, your future. So make a decision based on fact. You deserve the whole truth.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You, yes, you can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
Starting November 1st to December 31st, you can earn double points every time you use your Fidelity credit or prepaid cards. That's not all. When you use your card on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, Fidelity's giving you triple points. That means you have a whole weekend to rack up 3 times the points for travel, merchandise, and more. And with added protection of instant text alerts, 90-day purchase protection, and chip and PIN technology, you can shop with confidence. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Support our tourism.
Do you still have questions about the cruise berthing facility? Would you like more information? Come and hear officials from government and Verdant Isle Port partners speak about the project and have your questions answered. Public meetings are happening across Grand Cayman until December 5th. Visit supportourtourism.com for all meeting dates. Be informed because truth matters.
Support our tourism.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Breakfast is back. Yes, tomorrow, Saturday, November 23rd, starting at 7 a.m. at the Lions Community Center. Enjoy a Caribbean breakfast of fried fish and fritters, liver and onions, and ackee and saltfish, starting at only $10, and help support the Lions Club and your community. Get your Caribbean breakfast tomorrow, Saturday, November 23rd, starting at 7 a.m.
The Cayman Islands National Museum invites you to join them for their 29th anniversary and Christmas Bazaar celebrations, Saturday 23rd November from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the National Museum on the waterfront. Come join in on their festivities, visit their talented traditional artisans and vendors, check out new enhancements to the Cayman Airways exhibition, and get your early Christmas shopping done. Admission is free for all. Enjoy a day of wholesome family celebrations at the Cayman Islands National Museum, Saturday, November 23rd.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning. I believe we have a caller, but before I take that caller, one of our listeners mentioned that the fact that they know that Robert Ross, one of Mr. Benny's sons, also drove taxi. They weren't sure whether or not the younger brother, Timmy, may have driven a taxi as well. And then one of our listeners has written in and said, "Good morning, OC. Don't forget my dad, Edward Barnes. Mr. Eddie had his taxi license since 1975. Just gave it up last year due to illness. Spent the last 25 years at Kirk's Supermarket. Still has customers bringing him his puzzle books. Thanks very much." And they say that people still ask for him every day. So, Mr. Funzo, I believe we have an item here. We have a hot item. We have to celebrate taxes past, and maybe we should do past and present in the Cayman Islands. Let's let our taxi drivers, those present, know how important they are to our tourism industry. And maybe, just maybe, those who look at it only as a way of earning a living and are out there sometimes putting other people's safety at risk, just maybe, they will have a change of heart and look at driving a taxi not just as an avocation, but more of being a part of the Cayman Islands and promoting the Cayman Islands again as well. So celebrate Cayman. Let's look for a day, whether or not we do it on Heroes Day or whatever. Let's find a day to celebrate taxi drivers past and present in the Cayman Islands. Let the families of those who have passed on feel how much and know how much we appreciate them as well. Let's take a caller, last caller for the morning. You have the distinction of being the last caller for this morning. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay. Well, I was born in 1969, so I wouldn't remember, but I was told by a person older than I am that Canadians were our first tourists here on the island. And let's not forget Mr. Henry Bush from Westpato.
Yes, someone mentioned him. Yes, someone mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Caller, are you still there? Okay, that caller left because I was wondering whether or not he heard the portion that I read about the hotel aids law and the fact that the legislature was made aware that some people were abusing that, building condos, selling them after getting the aid through the hotel aids law. Now, there are one important bill that was a proposal that was rejected. And it says here that a proposed bill which was rejected was one presented by Mr. Burns Ruddy concerning the reclamation of land in the West Bay Beach area. And he's quoted as saying, "I feel that property in this area should be reclaimed by the landowners or the land assessed because of the benefits they derive from adjacent, can't read that, Mr. Rudder said. It was pointed out in his written motion that during the process of filling in swamplands, the adjoining lands benefit to approximately 10 feet of the fill from the promoter's property seeping over." He is quoting us saying, "I didn't mean the whole island," Mr. Rudder said after the bill was rejected on the grounds that land assessment on this case would be too expensive for Caymanians. So at least they were looking out for Caymanians. Here's something that's interesting also. It says another law passed will now make it possible for the chief of police to appoint capable sergeants or other ranks to prosecute in the petticourt when the clerk of the court is absent or his office is vacant. And you may have heard me discuss that with Dr. Steve Macfield about the fact that there were days when police sergeants were prosecutors in the courts of the Cayman Islands as well. Here is another one. Do you? Well, I'll pose the rhetorical question. Do you know when it became lawful for police officers to issue speeding tickets to drivers in the Cayman Islands? And here is the paragraph that talks about that. It says, "An amendment to the motor vehicle law gives officers the authority to issue traffic tickets in the hope of controlling excessive speeding on the roads and in decreasing delay in bringing traffic offenders before the courts." So they were introducing a bill there that allowed police officers to issue traffic tickets. And we see reports in our newspapers about the issue of traffic tickets in the Cayman Islands. This time of the year, unfortunately, they will go up. This time of the year, we're going to have more inebriated drivers on the roads of the Cayman Islands. And again, want to urge you to be extremely careful. We want to urge those liquor establishment that dispense liquor, or if you're even throwing a private party, please monitor those persons who are drinking. If you know that they're driving, cut them off or provide some other mode of transportation for them to get home. Do not allow these people to be on the roads of the Cayman Islands to put their lives or the lives of others at risk in the Cayman Islands. Goes on to say, a section of this law referring to the imposition of a mandatory prison sentence for a certain class of persons here who have a lot of money because a heavy fine would not deter improper driving was vetoed. So they wanted to put a bigger fine for those people who could afford to pay. That would have been interesting. Then other laws passed in 1966 was the Stamp Duty Amendment Act, the Commonwealth Secretarial Visiting Privileges Act, the Motor Vehicles Insurance Third Party Risk Amendment, the Town and Communities Amendment, the Vaccination Commonwealth Validation and Indemnity Law, the Deportation British Subject Validation and Indemnity Law, the Abandoned Wrecks Law, the Telephone Law, and I just want to mention the telephone law. That was necessary because those were the days when cable and wireless was in the process of establishing lines, and I've seen reports from the Trade Winds newspaper about about Cable and Wireless establishing a presence in the Cayman Islands, building their office. That building was built by Mr. Tim Coe, and we see photographs of many Caymanians who joined Cable and Wireless in many capacities, went overseas to train, and everything to work with Cable and Wireless. So it was important for us to develop a telephone law at that time to govern to regulate the telephone industry in the Cayman Islands as well. So again, the Tradewinds newspaper, a wealth of information for me, kindly provided to me by Miss Joellen Thompson, who I believe received them from Miss Ardith Smith. Miss Ardith Smith was a West Bay reporter for the Tradewinds newspaper, and I remind you, the Tradewinds newspaper was started by Mr. Billy Borden, who worked in the newspaper industry in Florida, wanted to establish a newspaper here in the Cayman Islands, was supported financially by Mr. James MacDonald, a Canadian lawyer residing in the Cayman Islands, also by Mr. Arthur Borden, who would be the father of Mr. Truman Borden. And those two were the financial backers for the Tradewinds newspaper at that time. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Join me on Monday, where we should have people from the Cayman Islands Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union, on to the show as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.